Hi, everybody. It's Rhonda Cobb, the Money Coach, and welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could be with us this week because I do love my study listeners. I want you to know that. I love you. Thank you. So, this week we're going to talk about something really important. You know, according to a recent survey, one of the top problems facing people right now is burnout. Well, is it the time of year? Is it too much stress? But you know the feeling, right? Too much to do. No one's helping, and not enough time to get it all done. We'll add in a little bit of criticism from the boss, a little grouching from your significant other. The kids want this, that, and everything else, and its brother. And, something happens to a friend. You get the picture. We're busy, right? Everybody's got that. But what if one of your big stressors is the big, giant, looming D word? That's right. Debt is a big stressor. All debt is stressful, and collection activity is on the rise from what I can see. Phone calls and letters and letters and phone calls. Then I came across this article in Forbes about college being still worth it. So I thought I would do a show about that. Is college still worth it? With all due respect to the writer of Forbes, let's just see what we think, okay? You and me, just between us. On the front end, let's say, because it's true, yes, college is still worth it for some people. But when you realize that tuition and costs are rapidly rising while professor salaries and benefits are not rising at all, and tenured positions are as rare as a dodo bird egg, you have to really wonder what's going on. And I like sports as much as the next guy, but is a football coach really worth a multi-million-dollar a year salary? And a professor only gets a few $1,000s a semester to teach a class at a PhD level? Hmm, I wonder about that, don't you? And then the professors are limping along as contractors. They're not even employees, they don't even get benefits. And they're working at multiple colleges to make ends meet. Seriously, I think I can say with some degree of authority, it sounds a little messed up. And then don't even get me started on the idea that an athlete is more important than an academic scholar in an institution of higher learning, so that the athletes are given free tuition, room and board, and tutors, while the academians, the musicians, and the artists all scrabble for enough to live on and learn. Because you know what? I cannot see it. Especially when you also factor in the gender disparity of athletic programs that still exist. All in all, I'll just say, in my opinion, it's truly pathetic. So I have a slightly different viewpoint from the Forbes author who says, and I quote, a college degree guarantees the social skills that make customers feel comfortable with that agent, unquote. He's referring to a rental car counter agent requiring a college degree to get the job. But where does a college degree confer people skills? And where does it give young people the urge to care, empathize, or excel? And how many customer service reps have you encountered, let's say in the last 3 months, who couldn't care less, who make you feel uncomfortable or discouraged or even unwelcome? We've all been there, where a young person is unable to do the job. So I'm not really certain how a college degree guarantees the social skills that young people need to do social facing jobs or client facing jobs. I'm not sure about that at all. And in fact, I'm not sure that college guarantees job success in any way. Ask any college graduate who has lost their job due to office politics, economic conditions, or other unavoidable instances. Then the author of that article goes on to say that college is the new high school. Huh. What happened to the old high school? Oh, yeah, Common Core math and useless testing. But wow, that has got to be the most expensive high school ever. Why would you send your kid to college or your student to college if they're not going to emerge with the skills and maturity necessary to perform well in life, to find and hold a good job that is lucrative and fulfilling? And yes, I am pie in the sky. I'd like it to be both. Who wouldn't? And how many college graduates are living at home with mom and dad or their grandparents right now because they cannot get or hold a job? Is that education related, maturity related, or did college, the new high school, somehow let them down? They don't have the ability or desire to earn a living, or they can't afford to live on their own because the degree they were encouraged to pursue has no job openings. I wonder which one. Or is it some of all? So I did a little research. You know, I did. That's my thing. And here's what I found. The average student loan debt in 2018 was just over $30,000 per student. And a whopping 69% of students graduate with debt. Now let's put this in perspective. If you put 100 students in a room and 69 of them are wearing a black shirt and 31 of them are wearing a white shirt, every one of them in that black shirt has an average of $30,000 in debt when they graduate college. What a burden. That black shirt is going to be a real burden. So, and then check this out. The average monthly payment on that debt, once the debt comes out of deferment, which happens upon graduation or disenrollment from school, is $393 a month. That's a lot of money every month. No wonder our young people are annoyed. They can say, "Hooray, I graduated college, and now I have enough debt to keep me from pursuing my dreams. And oh, yeah, I have to ride a bike to work." When what they really might want to say is, "I got sold a bill of goods and some hocus pocus potion." So, speaking of which, check out this statistic. For men, and I averaged it across racial boundaries for our show. I didn't divide it, but the statistic was divided. Their debt to income ratio for student loan debt is 76%. That means their debt is equivalent to 76% of their first year salary. There's no way they can pay that amount of debt off in 1 year or even 5. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I was making some presentations to doctors, and I was doing what's called a lunch and learn. You take lunch and you do your presentation, and they all learn something new. And the doctor that was there was having lunch. We did the presentation, and we got to chatting. He was so happy that day because he had been out of college, out of med school for 25 years, and that day he had made the final payment on his student loan debt. 25 years. In that amount of time, he could have owned a house. Now, of course, he's a doctor and he makes good money. So he does own something really good. He owns a good career and it's fulfilling. And it seemed like talking to him, he was very happy with what he did and he made good money and he liked his patients and he strove to do well. But the fact of the matter is, it took 25 years to pay off that debt. Now, let's go back to this percentage of debt compared to their first year salary. So for guys, it was 76%. For women, it's even higher, of course. Their debt to income ratio for student loan debt, also averaged across racial boundaries, is a whopping 92%. That means their debt is equivalent to 92% of their first year salary. Talk about continuing inequality. Oh my goodness. And of course, there are probably 50 other factors leading to this shocking statistic, but still, really? 92% of their first year salary. How long is it going to take our young women to climb out of debt and pay for their college educations? Isn't that just a little bit too much? And will that basic new high school education that the author of that article talked about take your student where they want to go? Or will someone arbitrarily decide that, hey, now you need a master's degree? And let's look at two industries that are pretty much, oh, they're awfully female centric. Not totally, but a lot. Teaching and social work. Both pay rather low, but they want advanced degrees. So there you are. You get to spend well over $100,000 on your education to have a master's degree in teaching, and you get paid what, $60,000 a year? Yeah, it's not going to take you long at all to pay off that debt, is it? And raise a family, and try to have a house and a car, and getting back and forth to school, and maybe help the occasional student out with a pencil or something. Oh, yeah, no problem, right? Wrong. And that same $100,000 master's degree education so that you can earn even less as a social worker. Does this make sense to anybody but the college administrator selling this bill of goods? Perhaps we should go back to the beginning. Somewhere in real high school, there seems to be a systemic approach that glorifies college while simultaneously degrading a trade school, trade, or junior college path or apprenticeship programs. Now, the Forbes author poo pooed these programs as being less useful and said they weren't any good because welders in Ohio only make $15 an hour. Well, I don't think that's the case because I have welders for clients and they do way better than 15 an hour. Nevertheless, we're not discussing the wages of welders today. But I've often wondered, do school counselors, not the kind that have psychology degrees, I'm thinking about the kind we had when we were in high school. Ours weren't really counselors. You couldn't go talk to them about your problems. They were there just to like point you in the direction of college. Anyway, do they get a commission on the number of kids that go on to college? I just wondered. And besides, what is the role of high school? Maybe that all needs to be redefined for the modern world. If high school is only to prepare you for the new high school, also known as college, what are they actually doing there? But anyway, I remember my high school counselor. He didn't do what you would consider counseling today. You didn't go and sit and talk about your problems or what was happening at home, because if you did, everybody and their brother would know about it. But according to him, way back when, this is years ago, because I went to college eons ago, people, when everybody, according to him, needed to go to college. And of course, according to him, my engineering degree was well beyond my abilities because you're just a girl. But well, not because I was lacking math and science scores, because I wasn't. It was the whole you're the wrong gender thing. So all I had to say is, ha, last laugh on you, buddy. And oh yeah. Oh, sorry. That was rude. Anyway, but I want to say my high school class graduated a fine assortment of people: engineers, researchers, doctors, businessmen, professors, teachers, psychologists, and another entire fine assortment of people who are career UPS drivers,